Greetings, everyone. Greetings from the Twin Towers. Yeah, we're here live. I'm going to talk real quick about your name. Or is it your name they're even looking for? And I'd like to point out to people that anytime any of the corporate actors, anyone within the corporate world says, "What's your name?" you are answering that question. And at that point, it is assumed that you are taking responsibility for the legal name. Anytime anyone within the corporate world asks you, "What's your name? Is this your name?" you must clarify, are you looking for a legal name? And they will always say yes. And once you've established that it's not your name they're looking for, it is a legal name they're looking for, and that legal name was not created the day you were born. Because the next question will be, what's your date of birth? And see, your date of birth has nothing to do with their legal name. You did not create the legal name. You do not own the legal name. It is created by the state of wherever you were born, whatever geographical area they commonly call whatever, state of Florida, state of California, state of Washington, state of wherever. So whenever the corporate actors ask you, what's your name? Don't fall for the immediate trap of giving them a name. Only things are named: person, places, things. You have a calling that your mom and dad gave you, and that would be what would be yours. But when they converted it over into that all caps legal entity, corporation, straw man, organization name is the term they use these days. So you hear it called a lot of different things. Well, the new trendy way that the lawyers look at it is this organization name. So once you've determined with a corporate actor who's asking, what's your name? Are you looking for a legal name? Yes. Like on the birth certificate, most of them will pipe up. And now you've determined that they're looking for the entity, the legal name. Now they're going to want to know what the date of birth is, which if any of you would take a moment and pull out a birth certificate that you're the holder of, because you don't own it, and but you can be the holder. And there's a legal meaning to that. You can look up, do your own research. Don't believe anything I say. Do your own due diligence. I'm trying to get Brian with Here's the Deal to wrap his mind around this. Here's the Deal YouTube channel, High Impact Flicks. The one out there who's has a great show, and he does great work in exposing tyranny. But at the end of the day, they're always hunting legal names. There's nothing they want more than that legal name. And there's a reason for that. Once they key the mic with that legal name information, the currency begins to flow. The fiat begins to get propped up. As soon as they key that mic, the wealth starts moving their direction. So now you determine that they're looking for a legal name, and take a hard, long look at the file date on that birth certificate, and you will clearly see that that legal name was not created the day you were born. And now with that information, you would want to give them the correct date for the legal name that they're asking for. Because again, the immediate trap is, what's your name? Is this your name? Getting you to take ownership of something in the admiralty, ownership of something that's not yours. And then to double down and dishonor and give your date of birth for that legal entity that was not created the day you were born. Now, Brian over at Here's the Deal claims that his brand new Indiana birth certificate does not have a file or registration date on it. And I've asked him to share that with me and let me take a look at that, and also express to him you should be extremely concerned that there's no file or registration date on that birth certificate or on the certificate of live birth that should be accompanied by a wet ink signature. Now, I have heard that California withholds the file date, and there's some other state ofs that I can't recall at this moment, but this is the scary thing coming with the digital age. The only way you'll be able to hang them up from creating that legal name the very moment that baby is born would be to not provide a name. They need a name for that vessel in commerce. And Article 1, Section 8, it sure says United States, but I don't see the of America part in there. So they must be talking about the corporation United States. See, folks, if we don't do something about the corporate United States and all of its corporate actors and all of their mind-bending, mind control media, it's going to be a very, very sad day for the generations we're leaving behind. It's already pretty sad with how long this has gone on. Going back to 1913, when the Federal Reserve sunk its teeth into us, and they have not let up since. It's like a pit bull locking down on you. And the destruction is overwhelming. So don't want to keep this long. I just wanted to point out, don't fall for the immediate trap of what's your name. You must determine whether they're looking for your name or a legal name, and they're never looking for your name. That's a fact. That would be the proper name in upper and lower case that you'll find on the certificate of live birth, which down below you'll see a file date, registration date that be accompanied by a wet ink signature. And you'll find out that that date is very specific and really the only item on the birth certificate or certificate of live birth that's accompanied with a wet ink signature that's verifiable by that witness and their wet ink signature. Our dates are hearsay. A lot of people are aware of that. But just to keep this real short and simple, they're always hunting legal names. This is the bread and butter of their corporate system. The de facto corporate system's bread and butter is to keep everyone lost in the name game. And unfortunately, you have a lot of people that just want to go along to get along, and they really don't have any heart or intention to bring about the kind of information that is in game for the name game. Because they're using a version of what appears to be your name against you. That creates the taxpayer, the man giving his date of birth, volunteering to be the surety and debtor of that entity. I'm trying to keep this short and simple. You know, when I use the KISS, keep it simple, stupid. The first thing you have to do is pull out that birth certificate you're a holder of. Most of you out there probably don't even have a copy of your birth certificate, or you don't even know where it's at. That's what we run into a lot of. And determine what the file date is. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Mine is 10 days after I was born. I was born on July 17th, but the legal entity was not created until July 27th. And I'm telling you, this is life-changing information that must be shared with as many people as possible. Keep in mind, for those moms and dads that have their sons and daughters enrolled in the Rockefeller indoctrination schools where they're trying to, where they're basically have created their own agendas, and there doesn't seem much you can do about it, because why? You have your sons and daughters enrolled with a birth certificate. And that birth certificate, and no one coming forward to say, hey, You can no longer use my son or daughter's date of birth with the legal name you have them enrolled in the school with. And I'm telling you, when the moms and dads that really care about their sons and daughters, most of them that I want to be careful how I say this. For a lot of us, there is no public school. It's just too dangerous. The agendas that they want to teach are way out there, because they can teach your daughter that she can be a boy, or teach your son that he can be a girl. And they're doing this in kindergarten. So what would separate your son or daughter from this legal name you have used to enroll them in public school? And I get it. It takes two people to work. School offers a place for them to go, and you hope that they're learning there. But what they're learning is to live a lie. And that's why they take roll in class. I hope you're hearing what I'm sharing with you. The name game is a big damn deal. It's the biggest deal under the sun right now. And it will take a mass effort to bring forward this simple truth that's been right under your nose the entire time. Remember that file date has been there on that birth certificate as long as you've been using it. And I tell you, I put forth a lot of effort in exposing this and exposing the roadblocks that are being set up from being able to use the correct date that coincides with that legal name. And the DMVs directed it to Homeland Security. The Social Security office, they won't even talk to you unless you have a state ID or driver's license. So they have created an impossibility, because you cannot provide Social Security with what they want to even have the conversation about the information that they have pulled off the birth certificate. And they are caught up in a massive fraud right now. And more people that realize this, the better off we'll all be, and the sooner we'll be better off. Because Social Security is using your date of birth with the legal name that is derived from the birth certificate. I have a recording of this. Okay, and as soon as they saw me recording, but it wasn't like I didn't announce it, well, I'm going to have to record this. Of course, here came the man with the gun, Mr. Security Guard, to tell me how I couldn't record. And I told him, well, yeah, I can. And the man behind the window shut the shade. They were done. They weren't going to help me in any way, shape, or form, as I was pointing out what they just admitted to, that the legal name on the Social Security card is derived from the birth certificate. As I slide forward a birth certificate and a certificate of birth, and go, well, where did you initially get that information from that you have in the system now? Because this is where they have us all classified all wrong, and classified as these civilly dead entities under a public charitable trust, which are these legal names. And really, to end this off, keep in mind, kiddies, the legal names should have never existed in our lives in the first place. We should have never been under the system that was set up by the central bankers. Also, these legal names place us under the Trading with the Enemy Act under Title 50. These are very simple, verifiable things that you can do your research on. I suggest everyone look up the Schroeder video on the Trading with the Enemy Act. You can also look up Yusuf L. He does a fantastic rundown on the Trading with the Enemy Act. And who brought forward the bill creating the Trading with the Enemy Act? Oh, well, the Federal Reserve did. See, the Federal Reserve is not the friend of the people. And you see the CUSIP number that's associated with the birth certificate. That's the Committee on Uniform Security and Identification Procedures, along with the routing number that's on the Social Security card. That's a routing number to a Federal Reserve system that matches the circulating fiat. You see, people, these people don't mean us well. In fact, after the pandemic, it should be quite obvious, well, not to most, a lot of people are just mask wearing morons, and they're just ready for the next one, so they can sit at home and comply with whatever the corporate U.S. Inc. Title 28, subsection 3002 has in store for us. How can you vote for a corporate executive officer who wants to create more and more and more chaos for the American people? And I don't care if it's Trump or Biden. We'd have to go back to Kennedy before we see anyone who was going to affect a change. And then we can look at what they did to Ron Paul in Orlando. And boy, oh boy, you want to talk about some fraud. But people are not getting the right message. And they want to keep playing games with the names. And I'm here to tell you, it's your last warning. If you don't nip this thing in the bud, if you don't eliminate this name game, it's going to eliminate you. It wants to eliminate your family. It wants to eliminate any of us that are aware of what I'm talking about. And with the technology they have now, with the BLE, with the tapped telephone, cell phones, with pretty much everything and everyone's information being pumped in, they can pinpoint who they need to get rid of and who they don't need to worry about. And if you don't think this Skynet deal is real, well, you must be living under a rock. And I'm telling you, they use these legal names, which are considered a mark. You want to get biblical about it. It's going to be a very bad day if we don't eliminate it. Not go along to get along, not correct it, not guru it, not do anything but rid ourselves of this system. But for immediate protection, look at the file date and start asking yourself, do I want my sons and daughters giving their date of birth for a legal name that they're enrolled in over at the Rockefeller Indoctrination Center? Do I want to be volunteering my date of birth for a legal entity that wasn't created the day I was born? Wouldn't that amount to being a lie? And I want you to understand, overstand the frequency and the energy and the negative energy that's being dealt out by all of these people unknowingly volunteering their date of birth for a legal name that was not created the day they were born. I appreciate you all listening up, and I think I'll just end it there. This is live from the Twin Towers. Y'all have a great day.